Hello, everyone. Now is the times. Warm welcome to you all. Thank you for attending this session, Clubs, Stadiums, Federation Football for All. I am Nobuko Hibino, who is the chair of this session. In this session, we will talk about football for all. Why we need to talk about football for all? Because the disabled still face barriers to play football, watch football, and engage with football. According to the Goldblatt, football is truly the most externally lens on society. For example, the disabled still face difficulties to go to stadium. Why people cannot access to football? It could be said that there would be the barriers around the disabled people. No more nice to have the opportunities. We should go forward. The way of the promoting football for all is not only one. So in this session, we would like to share the new ideas and the project to talk about football for all. Okay. Sorry, I didn't use the PowerPoint. So before that, I would like to introduce about the access for all in Japan. Today, I will talk about why we needed the idea of the access for all. What is access for all? The point of the access for all policy in Japan is let's use the power of football family to promote access for all levels from grassroots to elite. And the target people are all people who couldn't access to the football. That means we target all minority groups, such as girls, LGBTQ+, people from other nations, people who face poverty issues, and of course, the disabled people. Because we believe that intersectionality perspectives are important. Before talking about Japanese access for all, I'd like to briefly explain the social background in Japan, particularly recent policy changes. In 2011, MEXT, which is the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology, enacted the Sports Basic Act, the first legislation to clearly promote disability sports in our country. In 2013, Tokyo won the bid for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. The following year, in 2014, the administration of disability sports was transferred from the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare to MEXT. The shift was highly significant. Previously, disability sports had been promoted under the concept of the rehabilitation and welfare. In 2016, the Act on Elimination of Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities was enacted. Since 2024, business operators, including football clubs, have been legally required to provide reasonable accommodation. With regard to the trend of disability football in Japan, in 2016, the Japan Inclusive Football Federation, JIF, was established. Since then, JIF has been an official member of the Japan Football Association. We call it JFA. Currently, JIF consists of the 8 members of organizations, including blind football, CP football, intellectual impairment, mental health issues, and other disability-specific football categories. In 2019, JIF conducted a national survey. The findings identified a crucial issue. The players and coaches in disability football had limited connections with partners in their local football associations and clubs. This identified the need to build stronger networking between disability football and mainstream football structures. Next, I would like to introduce the key policy of the Japan Football Association. In 2005, the Japan Football Association announced a long-term vision. One of its major goals stated, the football family of Japan, fans with a true love for football, will number 10 million strong. In 2014, JFA announced the declaration of the grassroots, which was the first declaration in relation to football for all. When we later discussed the Access for All initiative, we raised as an important question, had football already been accessible to those who love the game? In other words, many existing football fans already had access to participation and spectating opportunities. We thought that there would be a need to reach out to people who had not previously been able to access football. This shift in perspective became central to the philosophy of Access for All. The Access for All working group was established in 2023. The working group consists of these three Japan Football Association ex-board members, including myself, 2 representatives from the J League, the Japanese Football League, 2 from the WE League, Women's Football League, 1 from the F League, Futsal League, and one from the GIF, Disability Football Federation. Before the declaration, we discussed a wide range of issues for 1 year. For example, we examined what barriers prevent people from accessing football. Why are certain groups excluded from participation, spectating, or engagement? Through these discussions, we identified common characteristics among those who had difficulty accessing football. Based on this analysis, we carefully formulated the Access for All declaration. Allow me to share the core statement. From grassroots to elite level, we will sustainability and reliability deliver diverse opportunities and options, ensuring that everyone has access to football through playing, watching, and engaging with the game. In the project of the Access for All, delivering is a key word. To deliver diverse opportunities and options, all departments of Japan Football Associations and football families are required to promote Access for All. Through the policy of the Access for All, we can talk about the football for all within football family in Japan. This is a big change for Japanese football family. Before the declaration, in fact, we had good operations managed by Japan Football Association or J-League clubs or GIF and so on. However, it could be said that it was not whole approach of this Japanese football family. According to the Japan Football Association president, Mr. Miyamoto, JFA should be a hub to create networking to promote Access for All. Working group organizing a meeting every month to share the information on innovative cases, to discuss the issue on the barriers of the Access for All, to discuss how we can promote Access for All. Working group released a guideline. Working group also organizing conferences. In each football policy, such as the Japan Football Association, new sustainability strategy, Access for All is introduced. We encouraged each local 47 prefectural football associations to promote Access for All. Another example is about stadium accessibility. J-League, as I said, it's a Japanese football professional league, collaborates with the Japan Football Association and also Japan Inclusive Football Federation, and released their new policy based on the Access for All in this February 2026. We just started, however, we aim to create as many layers of support as possible, a network with more and more strands, so that as many people as possible are connected to it. In doing so, we seek to ensure that no one is left out of playing, watching, and engaging with football. For the future, we believe our priority to build a system that enables this to happen, and all football families are autonomous to promote Access for All members. So, from now on, I'd like to ask the speakers to present their project. But before that, thank you so much for giving me time to introduce our new project, Access for All in Japan. Now, I am honored to introduce you speakers of this session. As I said before, the way of the promoting football is not only one. Today, we have 4 speakers, and they talk about their project. Let me introduce the wonderful speakers. First, Dominique Blanc, who is a global advocate from the Accessible All. Could you please hand? Thank you. Next is Maria Castelo Talavera. Is that correct, my pronunciations? And disability officers from Atlético de Madrid. Thank you. And then over there, Ms. Cristiana Brassetti, Sustainability Manager from FIGC, Italian Football Federation. Association. And Nicholas Karma, Chairperson of the Spiras Press. Is that correct pronunciation? Thank you. So Dominic, please give us your presentation first.
Yeah, Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I start immediately with my presentation of 7 minutes with a main core message, benefits for all, because donation and charity for people with disabilities are very important, of course, but only a benefit for all stakeholders guarantees the long-term success. Yeah, for the warm-up, a small game, the game of the 7 differences between these 2 pretty couples. Wait, one we see immediately is the ball instead of the button, but otherwise it's not easy. It's not easy way where a lot of disabilities are not immediately visible. We have here proposal of 7 well-known disabilities. They are not immediately visible. The key number of this slide is 20%, because according to several studies and official statistics, we can in average accept that we have between 15 and 22% of disabled people in Europe. What more can be done to truly include this important population in our football stadiums? Accessible, the mission of Accessible is to do this. And I would focus on 2 of these 4 solutions here. The first one, the access captains. In this presentation, we will discover 3 of them. And the second one is the access champions. Access champions is a certification of accessibility in stadiums. And we have already big brands like Atlético Madrid, Sparta Prague, Brøndby in Sweden, AEK Athens, and coming soon in the waiting list, we have Paris Saint-Germain, Guadalajara, Mexico, the Swiss Football League, the Rapid Vienna on Sunday, Everton in England, and Rapid Buenos Aires. So just to see that we have a large spectrum of candidates for this accessibility, this access champion. The key word of this slide is change, changing. Why? Before, I would say something like 20 years ago, 80% of the time, of the resources of the football clubs at all levels and of the federation was sport, was football, was technique, and 20% for administration and for social. Nowadays, is nearly sometimes the opposite. So nowadays, in federation and in football club, we need more time for the social responsibility of the club. And the football is a very strong community, is a very united community. But there is another important criteria, the economy, because the purple economy, the economy of the disabled people, is very important. We have here a number of 440 billion pounds per year in UK, according to the official statistic. Yes, people with disabilities are also consumers. Consumers, yes, about 100 million consumers in Europe. Of course, there are certainly many laws and many regulations for people with disabilities. But there is also, and perhaps above all, a big market. Yes, we have to recognize and to accept that there is a big market for the purple economy. According, here I will focus of the power of football. According to several high school studies, football is the most powerful communication tool, and the fastest, and the cheapest, locally, at the level of a country, at the level of a continent. Just one example. During the final tournament of the World Football Cup in Qatar in 2022, there were present 32 teams, 2,500 professionals of football, and how many professionals of media? 14,000. That shows the incredible impact of the football, the media impact of the football. And that explains that we can, the sponsor, the big companies can invest in communication for accessibility in football. All stakeholders will receive benefit. Why? Because no one can ignore 20% of the population. No one can ignore that football is a very strong and united community. That means if you communicate with this 20%, you will reach everyone in the football community. And to end, let's listen our Access Captain. What says us Anna from Italy? Anna says, disabled people don't want privilege, don't need privilege. They just want to have the same opportunities as all the other fun. What said Jonathan, who visited the 42 stadium in Scotland, the stadium of the Professional Football League, following Sam. Sam is the dog. Jonathan said, the media coverage and the public recognition were incredible. Another proof of the force of the communication of the football. What says Nicola from Switzerland, who has made over 200 trips to stadiums all over the world in his wheelchair? We can do it together and share these experiences. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dominic. Later, we will have a panel discussion. So maybe, and afterwards, maybe I will ask you to, if you have any questions. So we want to move to the next presentation. Maria, can you do it for us?
Of course. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm not sure if it's working. Oh, okay. Okay, here. Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Maria, and I'm working at the DAO, Disability Access Officer at Atlético de Madrid. And some people, I know that Atlético Madrid is like a big team, and lots of people know him, but let me introduce the team in which I'm working. So, as you can see, it's a new stadium, new because it was inaugurated in 2017. We can hold more than 70,000 people, but not only speaking about football, because we have here also a big place where we can gather a lot of people. And it's not only, I work on football field, but there are also concerts, big events that took place here at this stadium. So we want to make this like a big home for everyone, where everyone can feel that it's welcome here. So here we speak about the fans' experience and the passion that all people that are coming to enjoy this beautiful game, it's here, and they are reflecting their values and so on. But here we can stand that, as Dominic spoke before, we need people coming here to this stadium. As you can see here, it's a big one with the new screens on the top and all the people coming in. But we need all these little ants that they are inside. We need all those people. So we are working for people. We need all people coming to the stadium. And that's the reason why we need all the supporters or the fans that they are coming to the game. We have, as Dominic said before, lots of people, and sometimes maybe you are going to be one of them because you maybe have an injury or you have a broken leg or something, and this doesn't mean that you are not going to be included here in the club, or whatever you are going. If you buy a ticket for a concert and unfortunately 1 month, with 1 month for going to the concert, you broke your leg, you want to come to that concert too. Or if you want to come to that game, imagine to a final or something like that, you can't miss this. So we are working for all these people that can feel welcome here in this stadium. It doesn't matter the difference that we have. Here in this picture, we make the most inclusive game in a Champions game, played against the Lille, the French team, and we were holding on a big scenario around the stadium with inclusive games, showing another different sports, also those things that usually you are not aware about that. We put on some glasses for you to feel like a visual impaired or people that they are colorblind. So we want to, everybody knows that everyone is different and all of them are welcome here at the stadium. So as we are speaking about, yes, we built this stadium in 2017 and today we are in 2025. So we are staying here or we are going further. The real thing is that we want to make more improvements, and using these supporters or the people, the fans that they are coming to the stadium, for us is the best, because when we want to make an improvement or if we want to go further and know about a family or someone, so how long do you take to come here to the stadium? In which way we can help you? So we want to know all of this. And with all this information, we can carry on speaking with the club or with another NGOs or another platforms like Accessible, because they are working together with us and they are a really great support for us. And they are also helping us. So we need that connection between everybody of us. And as you can see, we are going to make more things, trying to go in with this initiative to be escalating by sharing the accessibility strategy between clubs and sport entities, as well as the technological solutions. We are using audio descriptive commentary, the haptic tables and tablets and all other things. And we want to go further about this, creating this hub of innovation in sports, which we are going to create these better and these good practices that we are making, not here on our clubs, because if we speak about Accessible, we are like sharing all the good practice that they are from all around Europe, and it's wonderful. So the key word, or what I'm going to transmit you or to communicate, it's you need, or we have the people and we have like all the people that they are managing all these things that they want to, or they need to give us this money to make these improvements and so on. So you need someone that it's like a speaker, because you have the voices of the people and then you have to reach the mountaintop. And in this case, I'm working at Atlético de Madrid to be that speaker for people and to be that voice that can reach the top of the mountain and everyone can feel included here at the club. So in this case, in this photo, it's me in the inclusive game that we play against the Lille in the Champions League. And we have all the things that we could imagine in that game. We have these 3 children that go with the referees down to the pitch. We have the sign language on the screens. We have audio commentary description. We have a special room for like a quiet space for those people that they have autistic problems or another things, another kind of disabilities. And we were open for everyone, and for us is what we need, not only at our stadium, in every place that we can find. So with this, I'm going to stop, and I hope that you like this session. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maria. Next, I would like to welcome the Cristiana Barsetti from the Italian Football Association.
Yes,
Sorry, I said
exactly.
Italian Federation, Football Federation.
Thank you very
Italian
much.
Football Association. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am Cristina Brasetti, and I'm Sustainability Manager of the Italian Football Association. Just to connect to Maria and to Dominic, the Sustainability Manager is the person in charge of social and environmental aspects related to football, to the association, and to the entire football ecosystem. And this is a new role, quite new, not very new. In 2021, it became compulsory for all national football associations. Also, the DAO, the Disability Access Officer, is a new role required in football. This was just an overview just to connect our presentation. And it's a great pleasure and an honor to be here today in this very prestigious and important environment to share with you the project implemented by the Italian Football Association. First of all, a brief overview on who we are. The Italian Football Association is the governing body of football in Italy and is in charge of managing and coordinating Italian football, such as professional leagues, amateur clubs, and from top-level football to grassroots. The project presented by the Italian Football Association is in line with the UEFA sustainability strategy and the policy Football for All Abilities. In 2021, UEFA, the European Football Confederation, launched its first sustainability strategy to inspire, activate, and accelerate European football to create impact. And in July 2023, the Italian Football Association published its first sustainability strategy, so in line with the UEFA sustainability strategy. And in this strategy, there is also a dedicated policy, Football for All Ability, to promote inclusion and accessibility. So the format created by the Italian Football Association is part of the policy. And no, let's of course, the aim of the project is to create an inclusive, The aim of the project is to create an inclusive match format for all matches of the Italian national team played in Italy. So we are referring to home matches. And of course, the aim of the Italian Football Association is to provide an inclusive experience for all fans, inspiring society and creating change through football. And the match format created by the Italian Football Association includes 4 main aspects. So the audio descriptive commentary, the quiet room, also known as silent room, the involvement of players, player escorts with selected among children with vulnerabilities, and the inclusive employment of staff in hospitality areas. So let's see, the first action is related to the audio descriptive commentary. One of the activities carried out as part of the accessibility format for home matches is the ADC. And since 2022, the Italian Football Association provides audio descriptive commentary for blind and visually impaired people attending the Italian national team matches in Italy. And this service allows blind and visually impaired fans to follow the match thanks to dedicated commentators, specialized commentators, and a digital platform that can be accessed via smartphones. So professional commentators deliver real-time match description directly to users' smartphone. Another activity that is part of our match format is the quiet room. The quiet rooms, also known as silent rooms in some stadiums, are protected spaces generally set up in the skyboxes at the stadium. So we are not building new infrastructures, but the message we want to deliver is to use and transform and allocate dedicated spaces according to the different needs, not changing the world, but adapting to the existing structure in case you cannot build the new ones. And these spaces are dedicated to people with autism and sensory sensitivities that can be both adults, so belonging to our disability football division and to our project, to our championship Football is for Everyone, or children from our youth department, part of our project, Integrated Football. And this activity is carried out in all matches played in Italy by the A-man national team. So it will also be implemented in Bergamo in a few weeks' time. Another aspect of our match format relates to player escorts with vulnerabilities. So we are referring to children entering the pitch with the players. These children are selected from local hospital or thanks to the support with non-profit local organizations. And this initiative offers children a unique and unforgettable experience, so allowing them to enter the pitch hand in hand with the players, but also to promote inclusion and positive values of football. The last activity part of our match format is the inclusive employment in hospitality areas of people with autism or Down syndrome in the catering services we provide in the hospitality areas during the match. So this is a proof that how can a match can become a real working experience and an opportunity to deliver a message of inclusion and the possibility to access to work. So, which is the key message. When we talk about sustainability in football, we refer to 3 key words used by UEFA, the European Confederation. So the cascade effect, the replicability, and the scalability. So the replicability, when a model can be implemented anywhere, turning every venue into a platform for sustainability and inclusion. Scalability, when the format can be tailored in every context and in all actions, and all actions are defined and adapted accordingly, but especially ensuring impact, no matter the size, no matter the type. And the cascade effect, so when a format can generate a multiplier effect to the entire football ecosystem. So we think that the strength of the strategic model defined by the Italian Football Association is the result of a combination of all these elements. Thank you.
Thank you, Christiana. So the last speaker was Mr. Nicolas Kerner, chairperson from the Spielpass. Please.
Thank you very much. Today we talked already about people with disabilities as a consumer and the stadium. And now I want to talk about inclusion in football. Basically, it's a grassroots project that started in 2023 here in Vienna. And the name is a bit, if you don't understand German, it's like Inklusiver Fußballclub Spielerpass. What is Spielerpass? Spielerpass is like the mother organization. In German, or like in English, it's Player Pass. It's the document that every football player receives when he is a member of a football club or as the football federation. And we started 10 years ago with the ambition and the goal that people with disabilities should also be recognized as normal football players. So that's the reason why we took this name for our organization. And we see it as really as a symbol for equality and inclusion. So first, in 2017, we started with football tournaments. Now, today, we have several different tournaments, very inclusive tournaments, tournaments only for people with disabilities. And before Corona, we also organized some parties and clubbings. That made a lot of fun, of course. And after some years, we had the idea, man, hey, we have to, doesn't work, move on and start an inclusive football club. So where people with and without disabilities can play together and to have like, let's say an example to prove our own and to prove if inclusion cannot only be in the stadium, also on the pitch. Our goal was to have at least 30% of players with a disability for every single match. Between 2023 and 2026, we had more than 100 registered players, not only with disabilities, also without disabilities. And we had different disabilities. And that was like, to be honest, sometimes very tough, because to communicate, that was the biggest issue sometimes for us. And we only had one training session and one match per week, which was like also a bit not enough, to be honest. But our big goal was to make inclusion in football visible and possible. And that was the biggest goal for us, because to talk about inclusion in football is one thing, but to really practice it and to learn from each other, that's the other topic. But before I start with the facts about the results of our projects, I want to take a closer look of sport in general in Austria, not maybe only in Austria, maybe in Europe also. And therefore we have like an individualization of society in sport. What does it mean? Sport has shifted more to an, let's say, ecosystem where athletes, you and I, maybe we want to make sport when we want. It's not like that we have a commitment for a club. It's, so sport has become more ego thing. And you can also see it really in amateur football. Amateur football in Austria is facing huge problems. On the one hand, you have very good football players. They want to get paid. They want to get money for their quality. And on the other hand, you have a lack of time commitment for the volunteers and people who want to play football and have fun in playing football. So that's like the big gap that we have. And as I mentioned here, money rules the football world. Maybe we have it in professional soccer. Maybe we also have it in amateur football. And the other aspect was also that the well-trained amateur football players, they want to win very easily, you know? They want to score, they want to play with people who have, let's say, a lot of experience in playing football. And of course, we didn't have that many football players with disability who had a lot of experience in that field. Yeah? So it was our job to bring people with different capabilities in terms of football together and to form a team. And that was quite a challenge, but it succeeded. And so the biggest issues at the moment for amateur football are the rising costs, less time commitment, and less sponsors. On the other hand, when we take a closer look on the Austrian Football Association, there's also a big number, which is like the Austrian Football Federation has lost between 2014 and 2024 250,000 members, which means like 250,000 people who played football in Austria on a weekly base. They have stopped, you know? So they have shifted, maybe some of them died, or they moved to other sports activities. Let's call it ego sports activities or individual sports activities, which is like paddle tennis, CrossFit, golf, and all those sports activities have been booming over the last 15 years. And that's quite a challenge when I talk about our society, yeah? Because being a member in a club, being a player or a coach has also to do with a commitment, you know? And not only the idea of, I want to play football when I want to do what I want and not what the rest of the team wants. So that was kind of the impact that we have. And to give you a bit of insight of what we did and what were the results and what is our learnings, basically. So in 2023, we started with 3 football teams. We had 1 inclusive league team. As I mentioned before, that's the team where we have at least 30 players with a disability. And then we also had 2 only disabled football teams. And these 2 teams, they are mainly participating in tournaments. And what I also mentioned here is like the size of the football field is much smaller than the one from the league team. The one from the league team has, in general, like 90 × 60 meters, and the playing time is twice 45 minutes, like in professional football. And in the first season, we made rank 8 out of 12. And the season was quite okay, to be honest. Yeah, it was like, for the referees, sometimes it was a very new experience. For the other clubs, it was a new experience. But we saw that, we can make it. So we are not the last ones, but so we can make it. And then in 2024, we got a new coach. And the coach, he was very ambitious. And he said like, I only want to have young players, you know? So let's say we had 5 or 6 players. They were above 40 years old, but they were good, you know? And then I was like, okay, we are the inclusive football club. I cannot kick out people just because of the age, you know? And so I registered the over 40 football team, which is like a senior team. And in this league, you play twice 30 minutes, and also, as you can see, the size of the pitch is a bit smaller. And also in this team, it was like that we had players with and without disabilities playing together. And then we figured out, hey, this framework works much better than the bigger one. And in the first season with the senior team, we made rank 2 out of 6, but to mention also that we were equal in terms of the points with the first place. So, yeah, we were the champion in real, but yeah. And then we figured out, okay, hey, this framework works much better for an inclusive standard, you know, so really like where people can participate. And to be honest, even for me, I mean, in my younger times, I played a lot of football, but when you're getting 30, 40 years old, it's quite tough to play 90 minutes, yeah? If you don't train at least 3 times per week, yeah? But if you want to play football in terms of having fun, then you really need to, yeah, think about the framework. And this season, like the 2025-26, we play on the smaller pitch, and this works very fine for us, or let's say to have inclusion in football. Our learnings and our toolkit, or your toolkit basically. Inclusion can be very frustrating when it comes to performance in sport, of course, because you want to win. How do you win? You have to let the best players play, otherwise you don't win. And then comes the second part. If you don't win, what can be our success as an inclusive football team? Because normally when you see we're a success, you take a look at the table, but when you look at the table and you are rank 1, 2, 3, but no one else knows that, okay, you have at least 30% of people with disabilities playing in your team, how do you motivate yourself? And to be honest, we had a time where we were losing a lot of games, and it was really difficult sometimes to really motivate people again and to really keep on believing. Yes. The sustainable solution for us, and which is our advice for you, is start with an inclusive kids team. Because at this level, people, doesn't matter if they have a disability or not, they learn from each other, they practice it together, and they have the same, let's call it, resources and the same opportunities. So, and that would be our second part. If we restart this project, we would start with an inclusive kids team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicholas. Actually, we used to have 5 speakers, but one of them, Mr. Ahmed I Akarabi from United Arab Emirates, was absent. So we wanted to keep on going to have some plenary discussions. Dominic, can you start? So can I have questions to all? What is a collective goal for our future? Football for all, what will this look like 10 or 20 years from now?
So thank you, Nabucco. I'm since 40 years in the football. The last 6 years as president of the Street Football Federation and members of several UEFA and FIFA commissions. What I observe the incredible growth of the social responsibility, the social awareness in the world of the football, in the clubs, in the federations. And I think that will so continue, and that will allow a better inclusion for all with the time. I see the football world in 20 years as really, truly inclusive due to this social evolution, at the same time due to the technical opportunities.
Thank you. Can you make a small comment, please? Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking about, just to liaise with Dominique, just thinking about 5 years ago, the world of football is changing. So the goal for us will be to continue raising awareness on these topics and create a multiplier effect to create impact. So the 3 keywords we mentioned before, replicability, scalability, and cascade effect. We can create change. It takes time, of course, but we can create change through the entire ecosystem. So I think raise awareness is the main goal to have these concrete effects implemented.
Thank you. Sorry, we don't have enough time to ask you any questions. So, but if you have any comment for the audiences, no? Yeah.
As well, Christina said, and Dominic, creating this awareness and going further with all these things. Right now, speaking about, for example, my stadium, it's not perfect, but one day it will be possible. So if we keep on working together, we could be the stadium or even the world accessible and for everybody.
Thanks, Nicolas.
Don't stop believing.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I wanted to ask you any questions from the floors. However, sorry, we don't have enough time. So after the session, if someone wanted to ask any question or any comment to the speakers, we will welcome to the. Is this okay for you? Yeah. Yeah. So after the session, please speak to us if you have any questions or comment. And thank you so much for coming to this session. So, and to promote football for all is not only one way. So as Dominic said, the disabled people, it's a number of the disabled people. Maybe we said about 20. So, and it is a big market, and also we cannot ignore them. So we would like to give the same opportunities and equitable environment and engage with France. And we talk about a lot of things with you. So, and football for all is a key word for creating the good. Better environment for all over the world. It's okay. So thank you so much. Sorry, we just finished. So I'm very sorry for that. Not to give you any opportunity to ask us. But after the session, please speak to us if you have any questions. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much.